So let's talk about the Giants game then. I'm happy about that. Look, I wore blue for the Giants today. I wore Giants blue today.
I'm glad one of us is happy.
And I mean, look, the Giants are in a rebuilding era. Daniel Jones was not good in the game, in my opinion. But Saquon Barkley put the damn team on his back. I mean, and I have complicated feelings about Saquon too. Do I want him to get another contract with the New York Giants? No, I think, right? No. But when you see that kind of performance, and I don't think Shane is going to give it to him because he didn't draft him, because he isn't a moron who drafted a running back second overall when, there was Josh Allen available, who, by the way, at the time I wanted them to take. Just putting that out there. Lamar Jackson went later in that draft. Bradley Chubb, I think, also was in that draft. Lots of really solid players that the Giants could have used who wasn't at a position that was so injury prone. And also, the Giants needed to rebuild at that point, and Gettleman did not understand that this roster needed to be built from the inside out and not taking a skill position player at the top of the draft. He also took McCaffrey. That's not working out well for the Panthers, and it's not working out well for the Giants. However, I mean, the talent is unbelievable.
When he's healthy, he looks like one of the fastest, strongest players in the whole league, and he's crafty when he runs. But I agree with you in the sense of there's no, even when Saquon was drafted, there was no team building logic in terms of value in the NFL to draft
he just fell in love with the guy.
Exactly. You love the guy. You like how he gets off the bus. You like how he holds his fork.
Yeah.
He's classy. He's got
team
guy, real team guy. We got a good head on his shoulders. But that's not enough to warrant a second overall pick. And the issues that come with that is, like you said, health, and also that the Saquon being out and Saquon not being consistent magnifies the selection.
Yes.
Because it magnifies the other deficiencies as a result of drafting him and paying him that much.
Because if he is out, it's all about where you allocate your cap. You allocate your cap for the most part to the quarterback position and to the defensive end position, which are, and to the offensive tackle position, which, they really do make your team. Those are team cornerstones. And a position I don't know, I would say probably 3 of the more expendable positions, and this is not fair because the salary cap, the NFLPA should be protecting these players even more, in my opinion, particularly running backs when they get used like crazy coming out of college. But running backs are very expendable. I think the safety position has been a bit devalued when, you're trying to play more man-to-man, right? People like Jamal Adams, what did that contract do for the Seahawks? And the linebacker position. You can have some linebacking stars. I was amazing to watch Devin White on Sunday Night Football. And then on the other side, you have Micah Parsons who can play both. But no, the Giants should not have drafted Saquon Barkley.
And the other thing, too, to your point about that, I was thinking almost the same thing, which is that running backs, especially now, especially in probably the NFL as it is for the last 6-7 years, you look at a bunch of different guys and see how fungible that asset is. Because take the Jaguars, for example. They drafted Travis Etienne early. Etienne got injured, and they had an 1,000-yard rusher on their team in James Robinson, who was undrafted. You did not. The
and
Jaguars,
that was one of the picks that they got for Jalen Ramsey from the Rams.
It's like they used draft capital that they got in a trade to essentially get kind of like a gaudy pick that wasn't First of all, wasn't probably going to move the needle super significantly for them anyways, and he was out for the season before week 1. So it also, just by virtue of that bad luck too, like I said, it underscores the badness of the pick when that guy gets hurt. And especially when you have a guy on the roster who was undrafted and went for 1,000 yards already.
And look, and Etienne, he's a freaky talent. And just to return to the Giants, because we could have a whole conversation about that as well. But, man, you understand in a vacuum why someone like Gettleman, an idiot, would fall in love with the athlete. because the athlete is one of the most special athletes in the NFL when healthy. He is, and he does everything right. He's in the locker room, but man, he really put the team on his back, and he didn't do the Le'Veon Bell thing that was, I'm sorry to bring that up, Bradley, but like so difficult to watch at the end of his career, which was dance behind the line, dancing behind the line. And Saquon did that a lot last year because he was not trusting that knee. And he got criticized for it because this is what happens when you're the second overall pick and you're not necessarily performing, even if it's not his fault based on the nature of the position. But he's back, and he was just all over the place, trucking guys, putting his head down, taking hits. He got face masked on that 2-point conversion and was hit twice before he got into the end zone, and that's what won the game for the Giants. Some other notes on the game, like, I'm not sure what's going on with Kadarius Toney, but he's another freaky athlete that you see out there. It seems like, one, there are some issues that have gone between coaching staffs as well. Like, it's not just Joe Judge being a stupid New England hard ass. Dayball and co seem to also feel like, okay, there's something there in terms of, I don't know what it is, but there's something there. But also, it could be, too, that Dayball, big balls Dayball, and we'll get to that 2-point conversion, as I mentioned. Like, he seems to like to bring young guys along slowly. Gabe Davis is a good example of somebody who did not have a high snap count last year until later in the season. And then, of course, he had that insane 4-touchdown performance in the AFC divisional game. But, maybe that's what he's doing with Kadarius Toney, but I do think that there should be concerns based on this spanning 2 coaching staffs. But, man, what I loved seeing was how Dayball and Kafka, the offensive coordinator, really had a good feel for when the offense was getting into rhythm. The first half was abysmal, but they were trying to get small plays, and then try for the explosive play. And explosive plays, I know that this is trite, but that's exactly what wins in 2022 in the NFL. And it seems like they have a good understanding of that, which is the biggest sigh of relief that any Giants fan can have given what the offense has looked like for the past decade, let alone how awful it was under Jason Garrett, who did not understand the concept of an explosive play last year.
And if you're not an amazing team, but in terms of talent, in terms of scheme, whatever the case may be, there's nothing to lose in taking risks, and B,
everything to gain because you teach the young guys, I believe in you.
That he showed in week 1 something that I don't think Joe Judge literally showed them one time in his entire tenure as head coach. That he believed that they could get this, that they could get this 2-point conversion, and also hang with a relatively good team. I know the Titans are not nearly as good as they were last year, but they still have enough players to be a formidable opponent for the Giants, and for them to stay in the game and remain kind of a pest and to be annoying enough to not only get the win by a point, but also stay with them and stay competitive throughout when certainly a team could go into this game thinking they're going to be a walkover, especially with the Titans at home. That's what you want to see in a team that's trying to rebuild and trying to get better, that they are fearless, they are ambitious, and they're competitive.
Yeah.
Even if they were to lose that game, even if that field goal were to go in, I still would have thought I would have chalked it up to be probably one of the most exciting and best Giants games I've seen in 3 years. Because the last
time I felt this way about
so
a Giants game was week 3 against the Buccaneers before Brady went there, Daniel Jones's rookie year, where he came back and won the game for them, and they also lost on a missed field goal at the end. But for me, that was it was a feeling of hope, and I don't believe Daniel Jones will be the quarterback next year, but nor do I think he should be, given some of the talent that's going to be coming out in this draft. And like, woo, baby, does Will Levis look good? And reuniting with him with Wan'Dale Robinson could be something really fun. But yeah. So for me, this was just an exciting indication that this offensive coaching staff wants to be serious in this league and isn't going to be scared out of their damn minds all the time like these previous regimes are. And the Giants' next 3 games are all at home in the dungeon that is MetLife, and they're against the Carolina Panthers, the Dallas Cowboys without Dak Prescott, and the Bears.
So like,
am I emotionally invested again? I don't know.
So like
I mean, I always am, but actually imagining they could win on a week-to-week basis.
Well, you got a basically mediocre team and a kind of uninspired.
No, that's a bad. They're not talented.
In the Panthers.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
In the Panthers.
And Matt Rule sucks.
Yeah,
as a head coach.
Just a kind of like bad vibes organization all around.
Yeah.
The Bears looked like friskier than I expected, but it was also in like a biblical weather situation, and like I'm not certain that'll remain. So I think that we're at minimum will be a close game. And then, sorry, who was the other one we said?
The Cowboys without Dak.
And the Cowboys looked like garbage with Dak.
Let's talk about the Cowboys.